don't always know where to go to find information. Nowadays, most news networks tend to be biased and can often seem untrustworthy. This is important because these people need to know how to protect themselves and others when they go out. I realized the need for the project when I asked several of my friends and online friends where they got their news and information. Almost all of them replied with some kind of third-party app such as Reddit or Twitter. While these apps can be great and informative, they aren't specifically tailored to COVID-19. And while searching these apps, you can often find what you're looking for. My proposed project is to create a COVID-19 informational Discord server where gamers can go and look at any news they want on COVID-19. The news they can find varies between CDC updates, WHO updates, case numbers, and even a discussion channel where people can talk and discuss COVID-19. What is Discord? A Discord server is a place for people to talk, share new ideas, and ask questions. My server will implement bots that give automatic updates for the people that choose. My server is housed through a platform called Discord. Discord allows for people of all ages to connect through games. And I will now be giving the walkthrough of my server that I created. So here's the opening page. So when you join the server, you'll be greeted with this page, which basically gives the invite link to anyone and so that people can share to their friends. This is where announcements are held for people to know about any new updates or changes to the server. Role selection is where people can select which updates they would like to receive just by clicking a button. General discussion is where people can talk, send memes about stuff like that, and kind of talk about the disease. I've had a lot of great questions about it, and so it's been fun to read those. This is user information. It's where people can share articles, ideas, or stuff about COVID-19 that they would like to share with the community. Country stats is a bot that I implemented into the server, and people have been talking and sharing ideas. So the way the bot works is that you type the command c.corona, and you type the name of a country such as India, and it'll pull up a map, case numbers, tests. And I also last night added something for United States where you type in c.state and the name of the state, Texas, for instance, and it will show tests, case numbers, all the same things. And so that's been a really popular attraction in the server. New ideas is where people can request things, new updates, new channels for updates. C2C updates is where we have, we can pull live updates from their official Twitter account and we plug them in here for, it's all automatic, and the user can choose whether or not they want to get these updates or they don't want to. And it has a lot of great information about protecting others and keeping yourself safe. WHO is the same thing, but for WHO. And this tends to be more broad, kind of more economy based, I'd say. And it's got a lot of great information about COVID. Texas COVID update every day provides new case numbers, new fatalities, hospitalizations, and hospital capacity usage, which has been a popular, I guess, statistic for this channel. Johns Hopkins hasn't really posted much from, and I haven't been able to get that one working because it's been a lot of trial and error with these servers. And then the US COVID updates provides new case numbers for every state, deaths, recovered cases. It's been a really popular channel as well. And then this is a channel if someone wants to ask a question in person or just talk with someone voice to voice, people can join this channel. And this is where the moderators can talk and discuss new changes to the server. And if we look to the right side, Coronacore is the name of a bot that I implemented which is the bot that gives the commands and allows for these maps to be plugged in. SensorBot makes it where people can't curse, post inappropriate stuff and stuff like that to keep the server user friendly and safe for everyone. Reaction Rules is the bot that I use for automatic selection of what updates you want. And then COVID-19 News is what pulls the information from the servers, from the Twitter accounts and their websites, and plugs them into the update channels. And so that's basically the server. Are there any questions regarding the server before we move on?
How many users do you have? Oh, sorry.
I had a similar question. How can you see what kind of reach your channel is having? Is there like the amount of users you have or followers, or how does that work?
In order that I can check how many members we have, and right now we have a 40. It's kind of hard to get to that number, but I'll try and find it. Members.
It's okay, we believe you.
Yeah. And so 39 members at the moment, and it shows what bots they have and what updates they have as well.
So did you send this link to people, or how could people find your channel?
So I was in a bunch of Discords, servers for games and stuff, and I kind of knew them, I kind of didn't know them. There's thousands of people in these servers, and I kind of just shared my link there, people who wanting to protect themselves and are wanting COVID-19 news. So kind of just shared it there, and Discord's a great way to communicate and share your ideas with people. So that's why. And so let's go back to the presentation. Are y'all?
I have another question. Sorry.
No problem.
How long did it take you to create this website?
It took me about a week and a half to really get everything moving. And it took about another 5 days to get people to be interacting with the website and people to be asking questions. So.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, we'll be moving on. Are y'all able to see the presentation now? So there's the walkthrough results. I took a poll on the server, and 14 people rated it 5 out of 5, and no one else rated anything else but 5 out of 5. So 5 stars all around for the server. In total, I was able to integrate 5 different bots, which all have different purposes, which I showed, and each bot plays a unique role in the server. At the moment, I have been able to add multiple update channels where people can receive the information they need. And as of now, the server is 40 active members. And here on the side is a user asking me a question, and we're kind of discussing something. He was really intrigued by how India has such a broad population, but yet their case numbers and their deaths are so low compared to the United Kingdom. And we kind of had a discussion about how India has been doing extensive quarantine and the steps they've taken to really progress and to keep their country safe compared to the United Kingdom. And this is an interview with a random member. So I asked him 4 questions, and I said, first question was, would you say the server provides you with beneficial data to protect yourself and inform yourself? He said, of course. And next question, would you say the user is able to have input, ask questions, and is able to share their thoughts and concerns? He said, yes, it's very user-friendly. Would you say the information is truthful and accurate? From what I observed, yes, everything lines up with actual citable sources. And next question, in the future, would you come to the server to receive the COVID-19 news you need? He said, yes, I would. So, and then here are the factors that came into play when deciding what to do with my server. The main purpose for starting the server was a way for people not attached to news networks to get free, unbiased news on COVID-19. In the past, I've always found it hard to trust the big news networks and online sources. Another factor I came across was a very big learning curve. The ability to integrate bots in this platform and set them to give updates on certain accounts was very new for me. Thus, I had to take several days to familiarize myself. Another issue was the bots were not able to generate automatic updates from official websites, such as the CDC. To compromise, I was able to take their official updates from their verified Twitter accounts. Reflection. So in my opinion, the server has been a huge success. In only 5 days, the server has reached up to 40 members. The server really connects my interests of health and economy, as both of those are relevant in my server. My overall goal of the server was to reach 100 members, but sadly did not meet that goal. However, 40 members is a great start for a server I continue to grow. If I had done my server all over again, I would have spent more time advertising my server to get more members. As far as my objectives go, I felt as though I really strived and hit them. My long-term goal for the server is to keep it running while we endure this pandemic. These are all the Twitter accounts I used and the references I used. Any questions? That's the end of the presentation. And here's the link if anyone likes to join the server and check it out.
Fantastic job, Blake. I'm really impressed by this job that you did. I felt like it was such a short amount of time and you're able to do this complete awesome project. It's really impressive. Awesome job.
Thank you.
Would you mind sending this link in the chat on Zoom, please? Just copying and pasting it.
You do need an account though to access it, so you may have to create an account.
Okay. And then the floor is open to any questions your peers may have or other GPSA staff members.
Blake, I had a quick question for you. So this is Leonard from GPSA. I agree with Leila. I think it's a great project, and I was wondering at the beginning you mentioned that the target audience is gamers.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the target audience could be broader, and if so, to which extent?
Yeah, that's a great question. But Discord is a really specified platform for gamers. I haven't really seen much use of just normal people that haven't really that don't use Discord. But in the future, if people are willing to use this platform, I really see that it could be a more broader platform for the everyday person.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is the first time.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes ago, that was the first time I heard of Discord.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's pretty. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Blake, Dr. Malkin, who is the founder of GPSA, has a question for you. He said, great idea to use Discord. How does your site compare to other Discord COVID sites?
It compares to other sites because it's more of a user-friendly place. People can put their own ideas. The servers I've seen have been fairly just one or two channels where it's just strict. It's not many sources and it's from the same place. This allows the user to select which sources they want to see and which they're more comfortable with saying they're seeing. Also, the ability for this Corona bot, which gives the detailed case maps. I haven't really seen that in a lot of servers, but I think the main thing is different is that the user has input and they can ask questions freely.
Blake, do you mind if I follow up with that a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't type as quickly as I can speak. One thing that I think is missing that you might want to think about from other sites, in addition to what you've already said, is I haven't seen any that have a good map of hospital loads or R factors. In other words, how many people are being infected from one infected person? What's the exponent? And those maps are very important to understand how the disease is progressing in the future of the disease. So that might be something to consider adding at some point.
Yeah, I would definitely consider that. I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
Hi, this is Vanessa from GPSA. So I just wanted to say, great job. I'm actually a bit jealous with all your programming skills. And I think this is a fantastic way to reach people as well. And yeah, you should be proud of yourself. Thanks for the presentation.
Yeah, thank you.
Lainey, Elizabeth, do you have any questions for Blake?
I think you already covered this, but what do you think was the most challenging part of creating this?
Promoting the server, and as well as being able to integrate the bots into the server, because that takes a lot of time and patience. Because it took me a while, a couple of days, to really learn how to use the bots effectively. So.
You might have already said this, but why did you choose like gamers and like kids your age to target?
Because this is just a stereotype, I'd say, but I feel like most gamers are cooped up inside all day. They're not really, they don't have access to, I mean, they have access, but I don't think they really trust CNN, Fox News, all those big branded news networks. And they tend to rely on Reddit, Twitter. I think this is a place for them to get free, unbiased information on COVID. And I think that's what appeals to them. And that's why I chose this, because I'd say they don't have a good place for them to get unbiased news. All in one place. If that makes sense, sorry.
Any final questions for Blake? Okay, wonderful. Great job, Blake. Like I said, I'm really impressed by the project that you did. It's super interactive, and I think that this is something that you could continue long-term. Just in general in the course, I really appreciated how vocal you were about your opinions, and I think you really contributed a lot to the discussions that we had in class. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so up next, we have Elizabeth. So if you can go ahead and share your presentation, that'd be great.
Okay, COVID educational campaign for Episcopal School of Dallas lower school students. So I'm Elizabeth Siegel, I'm 15 years old, and my long-term career objectives are still unknown, but I love journalism and writing, and I'm in newspaper, but I also love science. So I really wanted to join this course to kind of figure out which I want to focus on, or if I want to, combine the two. And I also joined this course because I took biology last year, and we touched on viruses a little bit, but I wanted to learn more, especially now with COVID-19. So that's why I joined the course. Project introduction. I created a flyer and a video to educate kids so they can understand COVID more and not live in fear. And I try to make it educational and fun at the same time so they're focused. And the point of this was to provide kids with clarity and accurate information about the virus, because it might be hard for parents and teachers to know how to teach their kids about such an important thing going on in our world. And it might be really hard to understand. And also being told that, you're supposed to stay inside for months, and being told that, people are being sick and maybe dying around you is probably really scary to them. So I was hoping that this video would make them less stressed and, again, provide them with clarity. And they might also be coming across inaccurate information, like rumors from other kids, like saying inaccurate stuff. So I was hoping that this would accurately give them information. And I also wanted to spread awareness about COVID-19 to students and my fellow classmates in order to slow the spread, because I think that it's important that kids my age know about COVID-19 as well. And in my video, I touch on precautions that we should be taking. And I think it's important that kids my age know about all these precautions because we're the ones that are going out and possibly spreading the virus. So I think that was really important. So I made a video and I shared it to the lower school students. The lower school students are about 6 to 10 years old. To students of the Episcopal School of Dallas, which is where I go to school. And I also shared it on Facebook and sent it to my friends for whoever wants to watch or for whoever wants to send it to the kids they know. And I'll give you a little preview of my video. Hi everyone. The coronavirus. Okay, I'll start right here. This is the coronavirus. You've probably heard about it a lot in the past few months. The coronavirus causes the disease COVID-19. COVID-19 makes a lot of people sick. Viruses can come in many different shapes and sizes. A coronavirus is shaped like a crown. Viruses replicate and invade cells, making the host, or the person who has the virus, pretty uncomfortable. You might have had a virus before, like the cold or the flu. If healthy people and kids get COVID-19, they'll probably be fine and maybe not even notice they have it. For others, having COVID-19 might be more difficult. Viruses can only get around if we help them get around. So here's some things you can do to stop that from happening. The first thing you can do is... Okay, so that's a little preview, and for the rest of the video, I just gave them guidelines based off the CDC of what they should be doing. And I also gave them fun ideas for what to do when they're bored, because I know it can be really boring for them to be not with their friends. And I also gave them a message at the end telling them that it's in the hands of professionals and all they should be doing right now is following these guidelines and just being kind to others during this difficult time. So I made a flyer and I linked to the video here with the survey. And I gave them a message right here that it's normal to feel stressed and confused, but just make sure you're following the guidelines and doing what they're supposed to. And then I gave them a brief biological rundown of the virus. Just because if I was their age, I would know nothing about how viruses work. So I thought it would be interesting for them to learn a little bit about it. And I think it will also help them with knowing how it spreads. And I also taught them about the effect of COVID-19 and more about why they should be staying inside and following the precautions. And then I told them the precautions they should be taking, which is very important. And I also gave them more ideas of what to do when they're bored. And I gave them more sources if they want to learn more. So I gave them a quiz, and so far about 15 people have taken it. I'm still reaching out to more teachers about spreading it to more kids, so I'm hoping that I'll get more accurate results after this. But I based all of these questions off of what was in my video to see how effective it was. Yeah. And it seemed that it was pretty effective, and they've been getting accurate information. And I also asked for feedback to see if I could make any changes, if I want to do anything different in the future. And I think I got pretty honest, accurate feedback, and I'm very happy about that. Factors that facilitated implementation. So my flyer link was really easy to email the teachers, and I think it was very accessible for parents and kids to use. It was really easy and fun to make. I used canva.com for my flyer, and I used iMovie for my video. And Canva I had never used before, but I was really happy with how it turned out. And I've made iMovies before, so the video was really easy for me to make. I also had some challenges with linking my video and survey to my flyer because I was scared that first I had a QR code and I didn't know if all parents knew how to use that. So I had to figure out some tech things and get over that challenge by like trying to figure out how to put a copy and paste link there. And I figured it out. Reflection. I think I achieved my objectives based on my feedback. A lot of people said this really helped and they learned new information. So I was happy about that. And I really got a positive, I learned a lot from this project. And I think that it ties back into my career objectives because I'm a writer and I'm in a newspaper, and my goal is to give people accurate information in a way that's easy to understand. And so I think that really helped with that. And it helped me learn a lot on how to help kids, and I really like stepped into the mind of younger kids and I broadened my perspective to what their mind is like, not just focusing on what I think. And I think it really let me unleash my creative side, because at home I've just not really been doing much and I've just been learning all this information. But I think this really let me let it out in a positive way. And I think I achieved my SMART goals because I I gave this to a specific audience, which is kids, and it was achievable, it was timely, and I got it done in a achievable time, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And that's it. Any questions?
Wonderful job, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
I do have a question. So what age group were you targeting? I think I missed it, and I have a question depending on the answer.
Okay, I gave it to lower school students, which are about 6 to 10 years old.
And at that age, I'd say that the attention span is really decreasing. So what kind of sets your video different from a video that's able to grab their attention? You know, what, I guess if you know what I'm saying, like what's different about your video that enables them to sit there and watch it, even though how short it is?
Yeah, it was only about 3 minutes, which I think is a good time. Like they won't be too distracted at the end. And I try to make it lighthearted and fun. And I put fun music in the back and fun pictures that I think would grab their attention. And I looked on the internet, and I looked up like other COVID-19 educational videos for kids, and a lot of them were really long and they were kind of dull and boring. And if I was a kid, I don't think I would want to watch that. So I try to make this really engaging.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Hi, Elizabeth. This is Vanessa from GPSA. Sorry. My comment. I just wanted to give you a few comments. I think that from the clip that you showed us, I think the language that you used as well was really appropriate for your population. And I also enjoyed the fact that you kind of addressed why you should be doing prevention methods, which is sometimes not clear to children. And I also like the fact that you addressed the issues of boredom and maybe feelings of like feeling sad or lonely at home by giving them activities. So in general, I thought you did a really great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How were you able to like share your information and your pamphlet and your video with kids? Did you reach out to parents or teachers that taught the kids? Or?
Yeah, so I reached out to Dr. Boberg, who, if you don't know, he's the academic supervisor at our school, I think. And so he reached out to the head of lower school, and then I think it was shared to teachers, and then they shared it to the parents. And I also shared it on Facebook because I have a lot of family friends who have younger kids, and I have friends who babysit people. So I think they emailed it to them that way.
Elizabeth, do you have any plans on sharing this video with maybe other schools in your school district that also have students of that age?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. My brother goes to St. Mark's School of Texas, which is a boys' school where I live. And so I'm pretty sure that he would be able to get in touch with a lot of people and share it to the kids there. And yeah, I'm sure I could reach out to a lot of other schools.
Awesome. I think that the video was really greatly made. We only saw a clip of it, but I hope that you'll send me the link after. But like Vanessa said, very age appropriate. I like the music that you included, and especially using words like COVID-19 could make you feel uncomfortable, things that they could know, and then giving them new information. I thought that that was awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions for Elizabeth? No? All right, wonderful. Great job, Elizabeth. We all really enjoyed your presentation just throughout the course. I really saw you evolve from the beginning to the end. I thought you got a lot more comfortable sharing your perspective on different things, sharing your opinions, even when they were different from your peers. And I really saw you come out of your shell. So I really like that too.
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So Lainey, you will close the show for us.
Okay. All right. So, wait, am I unmuted? Can y'all hear me? You good? Okay, so I did my project on how middle and high schools can return safely in Dallas, Texas, but of course it can be in other cities and states as well. So introduction to me, my name is Lainey Scheinberg. I'm 16, Blake is my twin, and we both go to the school of Dallas. So I have always wanted to be a surgeon or just some profession that involved with like space. These two topics have just always really interested me, and I've always just been interested in anatomy and just space, and not exactly knowing what's out there and what we don't know has always interested me. And I just always wanted my job to be something that's hands-on and interacting and just learning while doing your profession. And so I joined this e-course so I could properly be educated about the coronavirus. I also wanted to see maybe what a college course would be like, of course. I wanted to be able to properly educate my friends and my family about the virus, because with many news sources and big news sources, it's kind of hard to like really find what's really important that we should be learning and what's not. So being able to spread correct information really made me feel like I was improving my personal and small community. So introduction to my project. So justification first. So as you all know, everyone was in school before schools closed down due to the coronavirus. And then after schools had closed down, there was around 54 million students who had to start distance learning. And so there's an exception, 2 million people stay in schools in different countries and different areas that needed to stay. But many students struggled with these new learning environments and distance learning and having trouble taking part in it. Many students developed bad habits like not studying enough or just starting to cheat and rely on other students for their work. And then of course, some other students cannot afford computers or proper electronic material for distance learning. So that has been a really hard thing to go through during this time, not being able to properly take part in distance learning. And then students are also not receiving the amount of social time they should be. Multiple pediatricians have said children need to go back to school, they need to be around their friends, they need to be social and interacting. And if they don't, it could harm them in the near future with social interacting and also just really affect the person they become. So another thing I wanted to bring was how did I spread my video? I think I said this. I created an informational video on how to return safely back to school. So I needed to find a way to share my information that I have created. So I decided to create a video and post it to YouTube. And then I needed to get of course, the YouTube video out since I don't have followers or subscribers. So I decided to post it on social media such as Snapchat, GroupMe, Facebook, and Twitter. It was hard to post on Instagram because I don't have a business account and I don't know people who have business accounts, and it's hard to post a link. There's restrictions for advertising and Instagram has their ways, but so I researched and found reasonable ways to return, and I decided to share it on social media. And so here are some examples on how I shared it. So on Snapchat, I don't have too many people that follow me. I really only Snapchat my friends. And those who don't know what Snapchat is, it's just a way to communicate with your friends through pictures. And so I posted on my Snapchat story, which is like kind of a post that stays up for around 24 hours. And so I said, hey, check out my video on YouTube that I made for a course I took this summer. And so what my friends will do, they'll swipe up and it gives them the link to the YouTube video. And then for Facebook, my grandmother has a lot of followers other than me. I don't have too many people that follow me, only a couple people from my school and class. So I had her post it on her Facebook, which is here, like she says, my granddaughter made this video for a project. And so many people that follow her liked it and watched the video. And then some people that follow me on Facebook watched the video. And then GroupMe, which has been the most helpful way of sharing my video. Each grade at our school has a GroupMe group. And so if you post something, everyone in that class will see it. And so I said, hey guys, it would mean a lot if you would click this link and view my YouTube video. And so thankfully, a lot of my classmates decided to watch it and help me out, and they were able to receive information while they watched it as well. And then I also needed to find a way to share this with my school because I, of course, wanted to get out there. It helps my school decide maybe some ways that they can hopefully return. And so I reached out to Eric Boberg, which Elizabeth mentioned earlier. He is our academic leader. That's kind of what he's in charge of. And I also reached out to my biology teacher, who's one of my mentors. And thankfully, he was able to forward it to the head of school and the health committee of our school. So that was really helpful. And then again, my grandmother helped me out again because I don't have Twitter, but she did. So she did a Twitter post for me and put my YouTube video up there for me as well. And I think some people that followed her on Twitter also viewed the video. And then for my YouTube video, here are the stats for my YouTube video. Excuse me. So I had around 120 views. I took this screenshot a couple hours ago, so it could be more. But most of my views were around 2:30 and like 3 o'clock yesterday, and that's when I posted it to the GroupMe. So that means most of my views were from my classmates, which is perfect because I wanted to target the teenager population and people my age. And most of them got the link from external sources, so they clicked on it or got it from a friend. And then I didn't have any dislikes, which is really nice, and I had a few likes. I think I had around 8, which isn't that many, but still something. And then the results, so I got around 20 views on my YouTube video from Snapchat. Facebook, I got around 8 shares, 3 comments, and 13 likes in total from my grandmother and me. My GroupMe, I had a lot of classmates view the video, and then Twitter, everyone who followed my grandmother. And then YouTube, I had around 120 views in total. So factors that influenced my project. I had a very helpful teacher assistant. My teacher assistant was Paige, and she really helped me decide what I wanted to do for my project. I spent a lot of time researching and working on my project. I didn't have my usual busy summer schedule due to the coronavirus, so I had a lot of open time to just really focus on this. I didn't have as much sports and friends to build up my time with, so I devoted a lot of my time to this project, which really helped me make it become something I really wanted it to become. Reflection, I had trouble figuring out at first what I wanted to do. I was ranging from finding ideas like how doctors and patients can break down the barrier, like that uncomfortable barrier between each other, and then also finding ways for patients who are sick to communicate with their loved ones while they have been sick. So, they can't be with each other in person, and then most of them are in the older age, so they don't know how to use electronics to communicate with their family. So I wanted to find another way for them to do that. But in the end, I just resulted in doing something that really affected my personal community, and that was my school and people my age. I had to do a lot of work through this project. I had multiple tiny projects inside of mine. I had to create a presentation. I had to upload it to social media and YouTube, and it became more than what I thought it was going to become. I was getting close on time and started to have a really busy schedule these past 2 weeks. I've had a busy volleyball schedule. That's something I do in my life, and it became difficult for me to focus on making my project. But I was able to push through that and overcome it. And then I had trouble finding where on social media I wanted to post my video. I really wanted to post on Instagram, but there was limits, so I was unable to do that. And then I really enjoy learning what it would be like to return back to school, because that is something that I've just been thinking about this whole entire time. What is it going to be like when we come back to school? Is there going to be sports? Am I going to be able to still talk to my friends and have a normal experience? And it was just really interesting figuring that out while I was going to be able to teach other people what I was finding out. So did I achieve my objectives, and then why? So I did achieve my researching. I really wanted to research and find valuable resources where I could just really find great information to share with my peers and teachers. And then I was able to post it on social media and get a lot of views and share it with other people through there. And I was also able to share it with my school through Dr. Broberg. So that was really helpful. Some positives during my project, I was able to find out what is school really going to be like on return. It's not going to be the usual way it is. It's going to be different. It's going to be mainly focused on academics and staying safe, instead of, like the normal experience we have, like maybe sports, like football games and homecoming and dances. So it's definitely going to be really different. And it was kind of nice to figure that out before I went back, because I know I would have been really confused and like, what is going on? And just, it's really nice to have an idea of what it's going to be back, like coming back. I was able to share my information with more people than I thought. I thought I was only going to get maybe like 20 views from my friends and maybe a couple teachers that I know, but I was able to pass my goal of 100 and was really able to share it and affect people with it. And I think when students and teachers watch my videos, they'll maybe be less afraid, and maybe they have more clarity of what it's going to be like to return. They know that it's going to be, for the most part, safe, with a few exceptions. There's always that, what happens if a student or a teacher gets sick, but for the most part, it will be okay. It will be an okay experience. And every school has different ideas. Like, I know most universities are not planning return until after maybe Christmas break or winter break. But for high school and middle schools, it's kind of, we need to get back in there for their social interaction and, growing up, it's a part of their life. They need to come back to school. So interesting aspects of the experience. I was never really bored or unentertained while learning and creating my project. I was always like finding new information, and I was really enjoying what I chose my project to be. And then I really did find out, like, students really need to go back to school. It's not, we can't stay in distance learning forever. Like, we need to go back and have our normal social interaction. So that was really important to learn, because I always thought, I think it's okay if we don't stay for a long time. But then I started to look back and realize I'm a completely different person than I was before COVID-19 happened. And just realizing that maybe I'm not the nicest person as I was before. I created bad habits, and I've ended a lot of relationships with my friends, and just knowing like other students are going through the same thing I am, and it's important that we return back to our normal lives. And then of course, some people cannot take part in proper distance learning, so it's really important that we bring back these students to their benefited schedule and normal life. So a few challenges that I had was time management. Volleyball became a big issue, and then also just having to spend time. I wanted to spend a lot of time with my family this summer, but I had to step away a little bit from that to work on this. And then I also had a challenge deciding what topic I wanted to do. I had many ideas, but I was soon able to focus on this one. Where I wanted to post my video, I've already said I wanted to post it on social media, but I couldn't post on certain platforms. And then I really wanted to reach out to my school, but it became difficult because I couldn't directly email my principal. I thought that was inappropriate, so I had to reach out to different mentors and heads of our schools before I reached out to my principal. So what did I learn? I learned how to manage my time. I also learned what a college course is like and how you figure your way through a college course, and then of course how to return back to school safely. Achieving my goals, I wanted to find the best way to return back to school. I used information from resources online and other schools across the globe, and I collected my data and created a presentation that I think went really well. And then I worked every day on my presentation, and then I was able to share it with my school and social media and people who follow me on social media. So how will this help with my long-term objectives? I found out that I really enjoy global health and what's going on in the world, and just not where I live. I found that I really enjoy researching and learning while doing something I love, and just turning something small and new into something big and that affects people. And then I still enjoy the idea of surgery in space, but maybe more just surgery, because I learned that I like to give more than I like to receive, and then just help people. So I think surgery and helping people when they're at their weakest, or just in general, is something I really want to do. As of space, I don't think it really affects people, or at least like at the moment. Who knows what space and everything's going to be like in the future, but just I think it gives me clarity that I really want to work with people. That's it. Does anyone have any questions?
Fantastic job, Lainey. So I already got the link from Blake to his Discord server. So if you wouldn't mind sending me the link to your YouTube video, you could send it in the chat, Elizabeth, as well. And we'll be posting this to the GPSA Facebook page too, so that you'll have, your videos will have more reach as well.
Let's see.
So we're opening the floor up to questions from your peers or from anyone else who is also here.
Lainey, I have a question for you. You mentioned very briefly on one of your slides that you feel like you've picked up some bad habits, having been at home a lot. I'd like to hear a little bit more about that. What specific bad habits do you think you picked up?
Definitely, I don't know if I would consider this a bad habit, but I became very irritable by my family, and I just became just not the person I really wanted to become. I also started to work out less. I didn't have a busy schedule. I wasn't really focusing as much on my schoolwork as I normally did, and I just felt like I was becoming less of the person I was before. And it started to affect me mentally and physically. It was kind of a hard time to adjust to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Hi, Lainey. This is Vanessa from GPSA. Thank you so much for your presentation. I did appreciate a lot of your reflections as well. My question to you is more, so you sent the video to the school. Have they given you any feedback on it, or or maybe said to you that they would use some of that information to help the students get back to school in a different environment?
They have given me some feedback. I think my teacher, Mr. Ajay, told me that many of the ideas I had were similar to our school's plan, but I haven't gotten feedback from the heads of our schools yet. But I'm waiting to hear.
Okay. And I also like the fact that you brought up that, you know, it can cause students anxiety and maybe like stress as well about not knowing what the school environment would look like. So what do you think that schools and maybe even like leadership student bodies have to do to help students transition back into a different school environment?
They really just need to have an open mind into what they're coming to. They need to be positive and thankful that maybe they're coming back instead of focusing on the negatives, like I'm not going to have a normal school experience. Just to push that back and say, okay, at least I'm coming back. I need to do what teachers are telling me to do. I need to do what the school is telling me to do. And if everyone cooperates, I think it will be a good experience. Will come out of it.
Thank you. And congratulations on your project.
Thank you.
I had a question on what your opinion was with students whose parents in the medical field, because obviously you don't have the luxury of returning the virus back to their households where their parents and those doctors can be infected with this disease, and then also the risk of those parents bringing the disease to the kids, and those kids bring the disease to school.
And I cover part of that in my video. I talk about how schools also need to provide, still need to provide distance learning to children who can't come back to school. Like I know for our school, we have a few kids who have medical problems and they can't be there because they have a risk to COVID-19, extreme risk to COVID-19, as well as their families. So schools can also provide a distance learning, like recording their classes and reaching out to those students who cannot come to school. That's still gonna allow students who cannot come to school, especially parents in the medical field, they cannot come to school because they risk infecting students. They still have the option to take part in learning, but through a distance.
Thank you.
Lainey, it's Mr. Roger. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. How receptive do you think your peers, knowing them, knowing your ninth grade colleagues and knowing your upper school colleagues at ESD, how receptive do you think they will be to a lot of these guidelines and requirements and basically a new way of life at ESD once we do get back on campus?
I think they'll definitely be a little hesitant. They're not going to really like the new way of school. It might be a little hard at first, but I think once they kind of realize we actually need to do this, this is the best option for us, I think they will start to take part in it and it will go smoothly from then on there out.
So they're not there yet, you think?
I don't think so, not yet.
Okay.
Any final? Oh, go ahead, Leonard.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I have a quick question. So thank you for your presentation, Lainey. I had one, that part where you showed some of the graphs of some of the data of the video and how many times it has been watched. That was an interesting graph as well of the audience retention. What are your thoughts on that? I think it's an interesting graph to look at, but what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's just interesting to see, like, are you asking like when they were watching it or how they interacted with the video?
The audience retention, I presume that indicates the length that they're watching it.
I think
so
it was, yeah, I mean, it was a little interesting to see that they kind of stopped watching it after like 1 minute, but it was kind of nice to see that some people stayed through about halfway and then some stayed a little bit through the end. Yeah.
Okay, no, I agree. I think it's a very realistic graph. I think also the video is 8 minutes long, so I think it's
Yeah, it was pretty long, but
sure. Yeah, so I think the ones that watch the whole video, that's a compliment. But okay, yeah, thank you very much.
I have a question. So similar to what I was asked, do you think you would be open to spreading this video to other schools, or do you think this information is just for ESD?
yeah, definitely. I think I can definitely reach out to other schools because I kept my information pretty broad and not just inside of ESD's rules and guidelines. So I think I can definitely reach out to other schools in my district and other schools in the state and possibly other states as well.
Okay, fantastic job, Lainey. You had about 120 views, and this is just in a short amount of time of you posting it. And even though you said that you don't have as much of a social media outreach as, to get a lot of views, I still think that this was a really high number. So congrats on that. I really appreciated during our course, you always really tried to bring a global perspective, especially when we were talking about vulnerable populations and vaccinations, bringing equitable access to vaccines to developing countries too. So I really like the questions and the opinions that you would bring up regarding that. I thought it really brought a lot to our conversation, and something that you mentioned during your reflection too, and something that I definitely noticed during our classes. Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So YouTube playing. Sorry.
okay, no problem. All right, wonderful, everyone. So that concludes our presentations for your e-course. So I'll give you about a 10-minute break so you can get up, stretch, get some water, and then we'll come back to do the evaluations and have a reflection. Thank you, Dr. Malkin, Vanessa, Leonard, and Mr. Augie. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, for joining us.
Great job, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
You're welcome. Really enjoyed it.
Good job,
Bye-bye,
guys.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, congratulations. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, see all of you in 10 minutes.
Your healthcare system is, like the UK. Even some of the most developed countries are still hard hit with deaths, and what values or opinions or beliefs have changed. I came into the e-course thinking that coronavirus is kind of it shouldn't be something to worry about. I feel like after the course, I've kind of developed a sense where it is a problem and that we should take action against it. How will life change for you after the pandemic? I'd say I'm always going to be eerie under a pandemic. So I don't have to do this again. And a positive experience would be being able to share my ideas and talk and learn.
Wonderful. Thanks, Blake. Yeah, you're always the first to want to share your ideas, and I always really appreciated that. I think you always got the discussion going, so thanks for that. Okay, Lainey or Elizabeth, take the floor. Go ahead.
The most important lesson I've learned throughout the e-course and during the pandemic is that a normal life isn't promised. Like before this all started, I didn't think, it would affect me. And I think that normal school and normal life would go on. But I realized that things can change in literally a day. So yeah, I should take every day. I should just be grateful for every day. And what values or opinions or beliefs have changed? I don't think I recognized the work that healthcare workers do as much as I should have. I just thought, that's their job. I never really thought that much about it, but this whole situation has really made me realize how much they put on the line for us. And how will life change for me after the pandemic? I think that after the pandemic, I will take every day that I have with, my grandparents and also life with my friends. I'll be very grateful for that because I've gone so long without seeing them, and it's been kind of difficult. So I'll definitely be grateful for every normal day I have. And a positive experience I had was I was able to like use my voice during this course, because usually in class I'm really quiet and I'm really reserved, but I like how this class kind of forced me to let my opinion be known. So I think that's something that I'll also use in the future.
I keep on talking and I'm muted. Sorry. That's something that I mentioned during your presentation too. I noticed it in our first few sessions. You're a lot more hesitant about sharing your ideas, or you would just say, oh, I agree with Lainey, or I agree with Blake. But towards the end of it, I could really feel you sharing your own opinions. And hopefully you can carry this on to your other classes when you're back in school too. And I'm sure that you felt that you got a lot more out of the experience if you were able to share your own ideas too. Thanks, Elizabeth. All right, Lainey, you'll close the show.
Right. I think the most important lesson was like when you taught us like the different terms and different ways that viruses spread and how they're transmitted and everything. And I think that was just important to learn. So like when I'm hearing things on the news, I know, oh, I know what they're talking about. I know what that means. It just like, it makes me feel more smart and like knowing what's going on. And then what values or opinions or beliefs that have changed. I feel like I'm a lot more cautious. Like before I was kind of like Blake, where it's like, oh, like I don't think it's really going to affect me, but it definitely could. It definitely really could affect my family and I. I think I wear a mask like more like often and maybe more seriously, and then I definitely get onto my family members a lot more about I'm like, you're not wearing it right, or like you're not really protecting yourself or others when you're wearing it a certain way. And so I've been trying to get onto them about being more safe. And then my life has changed because I'm definitely more thankful for like my family's health and my health, and just really thankful that that we have been okay during this time, because I know a lot of people have not. And I'm really thankful for that. And I think it's going to be really nice to share my knowledge with other people about this once all of this is over and what my experience was like. I'm looking forward to doing that. A positive experience was definitely creating my project and helping my community by doing that, and just getting more knowledge and be able to spread good knowledge to other people. Yeah.
I literally did it again. Thanks so much, lady. Yeah, I think your project had a wide, although you kept saying, I don't have a lot of followers, this and that, you had a lot of views, which I'm super proud of. And I'll be posting both of the links to both of your videos on GPSA's Facebook page and on the Facebook group. And Blake, I wanted to share the link to your Discord channel. There's a lot of kids your age also taking the course. If any of them use Discord, they could also join it too. So be on the lookout for that. I also just wanted to let all of you know that just because the e-course ended, our communication doesn't have to. If you want any help like looking over college applications or have any questions about global health or working in public health, my email is always open to any questions that you might have. GPSA also does run travel programs. So if you're still in high school, once these start coming back on, I would love to have you join one of our travel programs and we can meet in person, and you could work in global health too, which would be really awesome. So if that's a possibility, I would really enjoy that. Okay, so this is where we end our course. Thanks to the three of you so much for everything that you've contributed to this course and this month that we've spent together.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Bye. Have a nice rest of your
Bye.
day.
Thank you.
Bye.